everyone, welcome to another executive interview. Today we have with us Peter Johnston, the Managing Director of Hone, a visionary force in the realm of agricultural technology. And our topic for today's discussion is pioneering sustainability and profitability, empowering agriculture through real time data and innovation. Hone's mission is to bridge the gap between sustainability and profitability, and it is truly remarkable. And we are here to learn more about their journey. Peter, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, Rhythm.
So let's begin our interview today by addressing the challenges that Hone aims to tackle. So with the world facing such pressing issues where, we talk about food security, climate change, can you talk to us about how Hone's technology directly addresses these challenges, especially in terms of improving quality, access, and sustainability in agriculture?
Thanks, Rhythm, for that question. The world's population continues to grow. We're approaching a target of around 10 billion people on the planet. And as part of that, we need to find ways to feed them, not just en masse, but essentially in a sustainable way. So Hone's identified the opportunity on how we can measure things like soil carbon to improve the health of the soil as well as the productivity. And at the same time, we also want to ensure that those products that are produced are of a quality that gets the maximum returns for those producers. So Hone, as part of the device, the Hone Lab Red, we can actually measure grain quality so that farmers can segregate grain on their on-farm storage effectively to achieve the maximum return for their produce.
Amazing. Well, indeed, your approach is quite innovative and impactful. For my next question, it would be great if you could tell us, just elaborate a little bit further on how Hone's technology actually disrupts the traditional testing methods and essentially what provides that unique competitive edge.
Yeah. Look, in agriculture, generally, if you want to test something, and we work on the basis that better measurement equals better management, you had to actually take a sample to a laboratory to actually assess it. So whether it's assessing for soil carbon or grain quality, and a lot of these laboratories were a long way away from the actual production point. So Hone's essentially inverted the situation where we're actually taking the laboratory to the field. And this then empowers the farmers to make better decisions based on better data. I guess if we look at how we're looking to disrupt it, it's not just through the moving the device, being very mobile out to the field, but the way in which we process the data. So rather than processing the data locally, we actually send it to the cloud so that we can get information from the spectrum that we collect to actually give real-time information directly back to those farmers.
Brilliant. Well, your technology's versatility across agricultural segments is actually very impressive. So can you also now share some examples of how Hone's solutions benefit different sectors, so such as, grain production and livestock?
Yeah, so let's talk about grain production. So farms have got bigger. I don't think that's a surprise to anyone. And as they've got bigger, there's been a lot of mechanisation and machinery's got bigger. So what that means is when farmers go to harvest grain, it's being harvested so quickly that they can't deliver it to the end receivable site, whether it's a grain bulk handler or a consumer of that grain, at the rate that it's being harvested. So they then have to store that grain on farm. So the first part about storing the grain is making a decision on what silo do they put in. Do they put in silo A, B or C based on the quality attributes of that grain? So what we're doing is being in a situation where that decision can be made in real time so that they can make sure they segregate the grain appropriately. If we look at the Australian market, you're talking about $30 billion worth of grains produced, and we essentially give back to the growers around 1% of that value by being able to segregate their grain appropriately. Equally so, farmers globally are looking at more sustainable ways to farm, and managing and monitoring soil carbon is a very good way to do that. Soils that are rich in carbon have greater fertility and greater water holding capacity. As we see the impact of climate change, having robust production systems will essentially help us navigate through these challenging times.
Brilliant. Now, Peter, the market opportunity definitely seems very substantial, particularly in the green and carbon offset markets. So how does Hone position itself to capitalize on these opportunities while also contributing to economic and environmental sustainability?
Yeah, so I don't think economic viability and environmental viability are two opposite things. I think that they actually go hand in hand. And to better understand, you need better data. So by better understanding the production cycles and alike, by capturing this data, producers can make better decisions. So I actually see that healthy soils, high carbon soils, are productive soils and profitable soils. And to do that, you need to make a decision, you need some data to actually make a decision of, and that's where we are positioning ourselves as the creator of core data from which decisions get made.
Amazing. Now, your collaborations with industry giants like GrainCorp and strategic partnerships with organizations like CSIRO are noteworthy. So, can you shed some light on these collaborations? Like, how do they amplify the applicability of Hone's technology?
Yeah. So with GrainCorp, as a very large bulk handler, they've understood there's been massive growth of on-farm storage in Australia. On-farm storage is approaching around 18 million tonnes, which is, well over half the crop as it relates to what's produced on the eastern seaboard. GrainCorp knows that by better understanding the quality profile, they can connect farmers with export markets. So understanding that quality at farm gate means that GrainCorp can build opportunities for that grain into international markets. So we're very fortunate to partner with GrainCorp and the vision that they've had on how they can engage with that on-farm grain. The same can be said with CSIRO, but that's more from a research perspective. So in Australia, the Clean Energy Regulator is looking for ways in which we can get to zero carbon output. And one of the ways of doing it is looking at things like soil sequestration of carbon. Now, the CSIRO has been a leading scientific organisation driving this through levels of government, which we're only too keen to work with. And they actually assist us validate our technology for the accurate measurement of organic soil carbon.
Brilliant. Now, as we conclude, Peter, could you share Hone's long-term vision? So how do you envision the convergence of spectroscopy, machine learning, and real-time data shaping the future of agriculture and environmental sustainability?
Yeah, look, I guess our approach and our vision is that anyone, anywhere can measure anything. And by collecting that data and those data points, better decisions get made. Better decisions for profitability, but also sustainability at the same time. This pool of data, as it grows, will actually create more opportunities in other inputs and alike that we can also measure, because once we've captured the spectral data, we can build on it from there.
Correct. Well, Peter, thank you so much for coming on and sharing the wonderful insights around the work that you and your team are doing at Hone. For anyone who would like to get in touch with the team at Hone, please see the details at the side of your screen or in the description of this video. Once again, Peter, I wish you all the luck with your venture and thank you again for coming in.
Thank you, Rhythm.
Thank you.